Hello and welcome to this episode of the Corporate Escapists TV show and podcast. I am your host, Christine Innes, and I'm delighted to have the very beautiful Erica joining me today. So thank you, lovely, for being here.
Oh, thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
I'm excited for this chat, but I just want to say congratulations because you were actually in a February issue of the magazine. And I love your story because honestly, what you're doing is helping so many amazing people. And I've been there exactly with what you're doing, leaving corporate, really trying to find your own pathway, asking those questions of, what do I want from my life, which I think as women, we never ask a lot with it. So before we dive deep, do you want to really introduce yourself? Tell everyone the amazing things that you do for people and how you help them.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, so my name is Erica, and I am a life purpose and business coach. And I essentially help people to discover their life purpose, leave the 9 to 5, and start a business and or move into a career that's just fully aligned with who they are at soul level. And I help them to then build that business to 6 figures, multiple 6 figures, whatever they feel they want to build it to, so that they can actually have the impact that they want to have, but also live the lifestyle that they really want to live, that freedom-based lifestyle.
Yeah, love it. I love it so much. And I think it's so relevant right now. I think the conversations that I've had, especially in the last, say, 8 to 12 months with everyone, with everything that's happened with COVID, it's really started to hit home with people that I should be doing what I love, not what sort of society expects from me, but really following your passion, what lights you up.
Yeah. So I completely agree. And I think it's like this collective opportunity was given to us, to really reevaluate our lives. And I've had so many clients and so many conversations with people who were either made redundant or they were laid off, or they actually just were like, you know what, I can't do this anymore. And they quit. Or, they've left relationships or marriages, or, I mean, we're just given this opportunity to really turn inwards. And I think so many of us questioned, why am I here? What am I here to do? I've been living my life sort of based on, maybe society's expectations or just what I felt I should be doing. And what COVID did was it just took all of the external away. And so many of us had no other choice but to really turn inwards. And a lot of people were asking themselves some really hard questions and maybe trying not to hear the answers to them. But yeah, it's like we're given this opportunity to figure out why we're here and to make this incredible shift. And so many people are now following their path and making big career decisions.
Yeah. And obviously you would notice it when you're seeing people when they start working with you. Like I can remember myself the first time where I left corporate, my whole life was crumbling, beneath me. I was in a toxic marriage. I was filing for bankruptcy, like lost everything. But
Oh,
it was just that moment of clarity when you go, it's like a light bulb that switches on going, holy crap, I can actually take back control. Do you get that with your clients and see it within them?
100%, 100%. It's like this light bulb kind of just goes off. And, I don't think came to this earth. I sort of have the spiritual belief that we didn't come here just to have a miserable life and just live life the way that, like, it's almost like we're living in the Matrix and someone's up there pulling puppet strings. Like, that's not why we're here. We come here with these divine gifts of ours, and we come here with this beauty and this love and this desire to have an impact and make a difference in the world in some way, shape, or form. And I think people are starting to remember that now. And, so many people lost so much through COVID, especially throughout last year, and people are putting the pieces back together. And I think they're starting to see that light now and realize, hey, my past doesn't actually have to be my future. I can create something incredible and beautiful and something that I actually am going to enjoy doing and be able to contribute and have a difference, make a difference here.
Yeah. I remember my dad, like he always says, life is too short. And as you just keep saying it, you keep saying it. But I think sometimes where something that is such on a global stage, it really hits home for us to go, life really is too short. So let's make the most of it. Like, let's do stuff that we absolutely love. Let's actually spend time with the people that we love and, really ignite us as well. Because I think that has also been the turning point for a lot of people as well, is like going, well, I want to make the most of it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's so true. For I think a lot of times, well, for me, the pivotal point was being diagnosed with cancer when I was only 36 and breastfeeding a baby and had a toddler. And that was just a huge wake up call for me. And I think so many of us, especially when we get to, sort of that 35 to 40, mid 40s, we have something that is a breakdown. Like you said, you're in a marriage, or you're going through a divorce, or you get a crazy diagnosis like what I got. And it is kind of just like that wake up call of, hey, we're not going to be here forever. And for me, my diagnosis was just a very clear redirect. And I think, last year, COVID and whatnot was that for a lot of us. But I think also what it showed us is that we don't have to wait for our life to fall apart to be able to rebuild it. We can choose to course correct now, as scary as it may feel.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think what you've hit on is the fact is that, we have all of these sort of ideals of what society thinks, I mean, when I was growing up, it was about you go to school, you get a good job, you work, and then when you retire, that's when you have fun.
Yeah, same
And,
here.
it's sort of like, well, hang
God.
on, why do I want to wait until I'm in my 60s, to actually have fun? Like, why not do it now? So I sort of call BS
Yeah.
on it, going through the journey. And I think that, that would probably resonate with you as well. Like, when this sort of diagnosis happened in your life, like, you're calling BS on it, going, well, hang on a second, I want to live life now.
And I might not even be here in my 60s. That's
Yeah.
the other thing too. It's like I've seen so many of my parents' friends, and they wait until they retire at 65 or 70. Here in the States, it's like people just work all the time and they leave and then they die. Like they don't even actually get to enjoy their retirement because something hits them and strikes them dead. And it's so sad that they chose to wait until they retire. It's like, why? Life is not guaranteed for anybody, whether you've had a cancer diagnosis or not. We could walk into the city and get hit by a bus one day. I mean, we're never guaranteed tomorrow. Nobody is.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love, like, obviously, what really resonated with me, with you, is the fact that, it's about people really sort of following their passion. Because I think a lot of us, like you said, look, we all have these amazing gifts within inside of us. I always say that whatever your parents told you as a child, that you were too much. So my mum always said, oh, Christine, you talk too much. And hence now I have a TV show and a podcast. So, I think it's like great, because that was my too much. So whatever, we have these beautiful gifts that are sort of, I guess, quietly settled as we're children, and gone, oh, that's not what you should be doing. Don't speak out. Don't do this. Don't do that. But it's now reigniting all of those beautiful gifts again as we are, stepping into adulthood, and actually making it into a business, or, really what is lighting us up so that we can do it with such passion as well.
Yeah. So I always say, and this is some good tips too, for this is like sort of the perfect career, and or your purpose is always a combination of three things. It's always, what do you really love to do? Right. So what do you really love to do? And again, a lot of times we have to go back to our childhood and see because we're conditioned not to have fun anymore. We're conditioned and programmed to just work, 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 and be so serious all the time. Like, what do you really love to do? And then, like you said, what are you naturally good at? What are your gifts? So for you, it's like communication. It's engaging people. It's talking. And now you have this podcast and you have a TV show. So it's, our purpose, and also the perfect career for us or business is always a combination of what we really love to do, what we're naturally good at, and how can I combine those two to create some kind of value in the world, right? Like that's the purpose piece. That's the meaningful piece. That piece actually, it's found in studies now, that piece has to be there in order to feel like we have a meaningful life. But yeah, that's essentially what we're all after, and what we should kind of look for to create.
Yeah. And do you want to, let's talk about what it's like working with you, because I watch your videos, like, and I'm just sitting there going, oh my God, I've got to soak this up. I've got to, I love it so much, because, and I love the fact that you really do practice what you'll preach as well, which is the work-life balance. I see you out on the snow with the kids. Like, I mean, I'm like, damn girl, you've got it. Like, this is what it's like, because there's so many people out there, and I'm not just, blowing smoke, but there's so many people out there that go, this is what you need to do. I'm going to teach you, but they don't practice it at
Yes.
all. And they're
Yes.
not living their truth as such. So what's it like working with you? And what are the sort of like the key end results that people get?
Well, there's two ways that people come in. The first is really when you're just lost, or you've had this crisis or a diagnosis or COVID, for example. Maybe you've been made redundant and you're starting to question, why am I here? What does the next chapter look like? So I do have a program where people can jump into, and it's a combination of soul searching, but also strategy. So you really go in, we dive deep, and we figure out, what you do love to do, what are your divine gifts, and then you come out with sort of the strategy piece. The second half of the program is really around strategy, and kind of takes me back to my old corporate recruitment days and my career coaching days as well. And we get really crystal clear through a process on what business you do actually want to start, and is it going to be viable enough to earn for you financially, but also give you the life that you want to live, right? Like, lifestyle is so important, and there's no point in building a business, I don't think, unless you take your lifestyle into consideration. Otherwise, you're just essentially creating a prison for yourself as well. So we kind of take all that into consideration, and you come out knowing which direction you're going to head.
Yeah. Do you find also too, one of the things that I noticed, especially, with myself, but with also other people that I've interviewed, is that once you've stepped into a business for yourself, there is also that disconnect that you need to have with your corporate identity to being an entrepreneur, or, being in business for yourself. Is that something that's really key, that you find with your clients?
Yeah. So yeah, it's definitely, God, it's quite a shift to make, isn't it? I mean, you've made it, I've made it. I actually fell into that trap where I was 100%, I created my business in the beginning, just exactly like a corporate job, where I was working 10-hour days. I'd put my kids to bed. I would work 2 more hours. And I was like, what in the heck have I just created here? What have I done? And it took me a good year to reconstruct and reevaluate and completely restructure my business. But I wasn't used to it. I was used to always working so hard. I was used to the hustle. I was used to the hours. And it's like, we're so programmed that way. So we have to really take some time to deprogram ourselves. And I think, so the other program that I have is where I help newer entrepreneurs build their business and scale their business. And the first thing we do is actually figure out, what's the lifestyle that I want? And we then build the business around that dream first.
Mm, yeah, I think it's so essential because, like, uh, what I've found, not only just within myself, but with other women that I speak to that have gone from corporate straight into their own business, it is a mindset shift that they need to make, because you're the business, and there is this still those fears and insecurities that still step up into it, because you're the face of the business. So whether you like it or not, you're the one that has to be seen. And it really can be hard, especially even if you've been in management, you've had a team behind you, or you've had the company logo or the company banner that you've been able to stand behind. But when you're in business, you're it. And you're the one that has to shine. I
That's
mean,
so true.
it sounds brutal in a
But
way,
it's
but
true.
it is really difficult. And I find that so many women do struggle with that. Um, just having that confidence within themselves, just to be able to stand it and to own it as well. Is that something that you work with them as well?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. They always say starting a business and building a business is 80% mindset and 20% strategy. And so the very first thing that we actually really do work on is mindset. And that's something that, is something I even have to work on every day, no matter what level of business you're at. It's something that you have to work on every single day, right? Because I mean, I can teach people strategy. I can tell you how to build $500,000 business all day long, but when you don't have the mindset to actually implement the strategy, you're going to get nowhere.
Mm.
And so it's a constant having to work through. But I think that, it actually becomes fun, and it becomes the fun work that we look forward to. It's getting to know yourself. It's getting to know where your blocks are, where your stories are, what your limiting beliefs are. And, as you do the work in your business, like, your whole world starts to transform as well. And you just like become this more awakened and evolved person. And yeah, it's just I think building a business is like the best personal development journey that you could ever be
Oh,
on, because it brings up all of your shit.
I agree. My son said to me a few years ago, he goes, Mum, I don't even know who you are anymore. And I'm like, how amazing is that? Like,
Right.
seriously, it's great. But that just shows you how much of a shift that you can actually make in your life, that the closest people around you don't know who you are. And I think that that's a beautiful gift that you are given. And whether you continue to run your business or not, you need to take that as a beautiful gift. An opportunity within your life.
Yeah, absolutely. I know. I mean, I look back, I'm sure you do the same. It's like I was dying inside. I was in my corporate career, and I was in a marriage, and I wasn't doing the work on myself, and I was stagnant, and it literally caused my body to turn against itself and create this disease. And I could never go back to stuffing myself into that box ever again. Like I couldn't, there's just no way.
Yeah. I look, I hear you. I mean, we've got, mine was not a cancer diagnosis. Mine was, I got diagnosed with adult asthma, and I literally could not walk 200 meters without being completely out of breath. And I do strongly believe that the universe needed to give me all of these things, all of this sort of struggles, for me to have that big kick up the backside, pretty much, to go, Christine, you need to reassess your life. Like, I'm telling you all this stuff and you're not listening. So here it is. You're going to hit rock bottom. And
Yeah.
that's what it is. So I'm a big believer that the universe sends you signs with it. So totally on the same page with you with that. But let's talk. What are the big plans that you have for the next, let's just say, 6 months within yourself and also your business?
Yeah, well, my business, so we have yeah, I've completely restructured just so that I had such volume coming at me that I couldn't handle it anymore. So I've restructured in a way that now just I can really serve at a greater level and have a higher impact and impact more people, which is amazing. So I think my business is set, and we're on trajectory to hit 1 million in turnover next year, which I'm super excited about. Personally, I am in the process of separating from my husband. And, I think also what COVID showed me is that there are a lot of areas of my life that I have invested a lot of time and money and energy into. And there are a lot of areas that I've ignored for a really long time. And for me, I'm committed to the work, and I'm committed to practicing what I preach. And I need to give myself some space to figure out, what do I believe about relationships? Who am I in relationship? Do I believe in marriage? I don't even know. So for me, I'm looking forward to stripping down a lot, and going through and rebuilding myself in that capacity, in that space, in a way that just feels really truly aligned. So I'm going back in.
I love it. I love it. And I love the fact that you still do the work. Like, I really do. And I respect you so much for that, because I think that it's an ongoing process that we have to continually do, and as we learn more things, and we have to, there's even more stuff that keeps coming up. And I'm the same. It's sort of like, do I have to do this again? Yes, you do. Okay.
I
Thank you so
know.
much.
That's exactly what it is. Like again, man.
Yeah. It's like, come on,
Oh,
really? Again? Thank
I
you.
know.
Great.
Things are
So,
going so well.
so I look, I'm excited. I want to say thank you again for, sharing your amazing gifts with us, being in the magazine. And I know that we're going to be working together again very soon, which I'm super excited about. And I just really, really do respect and honor with what you're doing. I think it's so needed right now. And thank you so much for spreading your amazing gifts with us today.
Thank you so much for having me. Such a pleasure.
Oh, it's amazing. I'm going to put all the details of how you can reach out to Erica below. If you've got any questions about this episode, make sure you like, subscribe, and also put your comments below, and Erica and I will reach out to you and respond as well. I just want to say thank you so much for joining us on this episode of the Corporate Escapists TV show and podcast. And remember to follow your passion every single day and live life to the fullest. Love and light to you all.